Hello there, very good evening and welcome to Primetime News here on News First, where the people come first. You're joining me, Naveksha Gunasekara. Let's start off by taking a look at your headlines.
Shooting at Bastian Mawatha. Retired military officer killed, 1 injured. Main suspect in Atulgama shooting arrested. Police investigate activists involved in protest. Social activist Retta arrested. CID questions Omalpe Sobidithero. Protests in Beliatha demanding justice for Wakamulle Udithero. Minister Tiran Alas meets IGP and Attorney General. Senior DIG Deshaban Thenakon on 2-week leave. Will the Prime Minister's committees be successful?
In your top story, a man was killed in a shooting in Petah this morning. 2 men on a motorcycle had opened fire at Bastian Mawatha, killing 1 and leaving another injured.
Two men were shot when returning after a hearing at the Hulsdorf court complex this morning.
This is the Colombo Bastian Mawatha private bus terminal. Every day this place is busy with hundreds of thousands of people trying to get to their destinations using the buses here. But this morning at the entrance to this bus terminal, a shooting took place where 3 people were targeted by 2 unknown gunmen in a motorcycle who came here and whizzed past this area after opening fire at the 3 of them. 1 person died and 1 was injured. Now we have seen the presence of the police special task force, the police as well as the Navy here who were conducting their investigations and cordoning off the entire area so that the public does not disturb the crime scene. Now, according to what we know, that the unknown gunman had opened fire at the 3 men right over there when they were standing there. And what's most interesting is this exact location is not far from the DIG office of Sri Lanka Police, which is over there, the big building right next to that tree. This is Zulfik Farzan reporting for News First from the Bastian Mawatha bus terminal in Colombo.
The shooting left 1 dead and another injured. The injured victim, a resident of Gaul, was admitted to the Colombo National Hospital. Another man who accompanied the 2 victims had managed to escape.
2 men opened fire. The area was crowded. There are bullet shells around this place. The shooters fired about 10 or 12 rounds. The shooting lasted for about 2 minutes. The injured were moved to a hospital on a 3-wheeler. 1 person was in critical condition. The other was stable. 2 people had fallen down. 1 was shot in the leg. The other was bleeding from his arm. The 3rd person was not hurt. They were taken in a 3-wheeler. We heard the gunshots. I was in a bus.
Investigations revealed that the 3 men had once served in the Commander Regiment of the Sri Lanka Army. They had also worked at a nightclub in Cinnamon Gardens. The men had arrived at the Colombo Chief Magistrate's Court over a case filed against the management of the nightclub. They had been shot when going back after the court hearing.
හතරට විතර ගියේ උදේ. ඒ රස්තා කරපු තැන පඩිය දිය තුන්නේ මාස 2කට ඔය. ඒක නඩුවක් දාතුනේ මේගොල්ලෝ. මේකට තනින් පඩිය අරන් දෙන්නේ. ආ තමයි නඩුව 30 දවසක්.
The magisterial inquiry took place this evening. The suspects had used T-56 rifles. The criminal investigations officers found 10 empty bullet shells. Further investigations into the incident will be carried out under the supervision of the Senior Superintendent of Police in charge of the Colombo Central Division. Several teams from the Fort Police Station will be deployed for the investigations. Who carried out the shooting in broad daylight in Petah? How did the suspects manage to escape easily after opening fire near a high security zone?
Police have arrested a 29-year-old man over the murder of a girl whose body was recovered from a marsh in Atalugama.
9-year-old Aisha Fatima had gone missing in Atalugama on Friday. She was on her way to buy chicken from a poultry shop 500 meters from her residence. Aisha was the third child among 4 siblings.
As you all can see, this is the route that Aisha took from her home to the farm shop where she went missing. Farm shop is right behind me, and the CCTV cameras opposite the farm shop testifies that Fatima came to the farm shop and left it on time.
CCTV footage showed her walking towards the poultry shop. However, she had not gone back. 30 hours after her disappearance, police recovered her body from a marsh in Atalugama.
The 9-year-old Fatima Aisha, who went missing on Friday, was later found on Saturday morning. She was found in these marshlands approximately 200 meters from the lane top.
The demise of the girl had left the people of Atalugama grieving.
ඒ බබාගෙන වගේ වෙන කාටවත් වෙන්නේ නැතුව අනිත් බබාලා අම්මලා පරිස්සම් කරගෙන මේම අනිත් ළමයින්ට වෙන්නේ නැතුව වෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා අපි
A post-mortem examination on 9-year-old Aisha's body was held at the Panadura hospital today. The examination had revealed that the girl had not been abused. She had died after mud and water had entered her body. The Criminal Investigations Department's Homicide and Organised Crime Investigations Division is conducting further investigations.
Seya from Kodadeniava and Vidya from Jaffna. This is not the first time that Sri Lanka has seen the worst of mankind towards innocent young girls. And today we see the same tragic incident repeated here in Atalugama.
The chief priest of a temple in Nukegoda was injured in a stabbing today.
Venerable Pallewala Devarakita Thero, the chief priest of the Subhadrarama temple in Nukegoda, was injured in a stabbing today. He is receiving treatment at the Kalabuvila hospital. One person has been arrested in connection to the stabbing. Mirihana police are conducting more investigations.
Police have arrested 3 men for attempting to assault 3 officers last night.
Crime Watch.
3 people have been arrested for attempting to assault police officers in the Balapitia area. Police said the men were under the influence of alcohol and were damaging vehicles at around 10:30 p.m. yesterday. Police spokesperson SSP Nihal Talduva said the suspects had attacked police officers who attempted to control the situation. He added that the police had fired into the air to control the situation. A police officer and a suspect who were injured in the attack have been hospitalized.
In more headline-making news, Public Security Minister Tiran Alas met with the Attorney General this afternoon.
Public Security Minister Tiran Alas had met with Police Chief C.D. Vikramaratne and the Attorney General today. The matters that were taken up for discussion were not made public. Meanwhile, Senior DIG Deshabandha Tennakoon has gone on leave for 2 weeks. The police headquarters said DJ Palihakkara has been appointed as the Senior DIG of the Western Province. He is currently the officer in charge of the Community Police and Environment Police divisions.
The Criminal Investigations Department recorded a statement from Venerable Omalpe Sobithathera yesterday.
Venerable Omalpe Sobithathera said CID officers recorded a 2-hour statement from him yesterday. This was over a statement he made citing a verse from the Dhammapada at a media briefing on Wednesday. The Criminal Investigations Department told Newsfirst that its cybercrime unit recorded a statement from Venerable Omalpe Sobithathera.
The CID recorded a statement from me for about 2 hours. This was over a verse that I quoted from the Dhammapada.
තමයි ධම්මපදයේ බාල වර්ගයේ 69 වෙනි ගාථාවේ සඳහන් කරුණ. යස්ස අස්සුමුකෝ රෝදං විපාකං පටිසේවති කියන බණපදය. ඒකේ තේරුම යමෙක් වරදක් කළා නම්. The meaning of this verse is that if anyone commits a mistake and fails to do their duty properly, they will have to face the repercussions of that. Those repercussions won't be favorable. They will have to face those repercussions with tears. That is what I said. But some have suggested to the IGP that it indicates an attempt to incite terrorism. They questioned me about that. I explained the meaning of the verse to them. The parliamentary election or the presidential election are instances where the people show their sovereignty. Some people don't cast their vote on the ballot paper. When politicians lose their ministerial positions, do they go home happily? Don't they react with sadness? That is what I said. Some people have thought beyond that and have become afraid. That is why they are afraid of the mistakes they are committing. I wish to tell other monks to prepare themselves when delivering sermons. They will record a statement from you the next day.
National Bhikkhu Front Secretary Venerable Wakmulle Uditathero, who was arrested over the unrest on May 9th, was remanded until tomorrow. Buddhist monks participated in a protest in Beliatta, citing that this arrest was unfair. Environmental activist Venerable Vakandawala Rahulathero was remanded until tomorrow.
Some monks, including Venerable Vakandawala Rahulathero, have been arrested. The gathering began at temple trees. They are carrying out a witch hunt against the monks who are opposing the government and its acts of suppression. Uditathero was arrested as a result of that. We are demanding them to stop unlawful arrests and to release them. The reason for all these arrests is that they oppose the Rajapaksa junta. They changed the B report in court. Many officers from the Veerakatiya police station were deployed to carry out special operations in many areas. Was there any special incident in Veerakatiya? They are displaying the qualities of the Rajapakshas. If you don't remember, remind yourselves that salaries are paid to police officers using public funds. The police should not become a force that is allied to the Rajapakshas or Ranil.
මිස රාජපක්ෂ පොලිසිය නෙවෙයි නිසා මේක රාජපක්ෂ පොලිසිය හෝ රාජපක්ෂ රනිල් පොලිසිය හෝ බවට පත් කර ගන්නට එපා කියන මතක් කිරීම කොට සිද්ධ කරනවා.
A long queue of people was seen outside the Department of Immigration and Emigration in Battaramulla this morning.
Many of the people in the queues were from distant areas.
පුදුම සෙනගක් නේ ඉන්නේ පුදුම විදිහට දුක් විඳින්නේ මේ මිනිස්සු. කණ්ඩ බොන්න නැති හින්දා තමයි මේ රට යන්නේ මිනිස්සු. පුදුම දුකක් විඳින්නේ.
Many people had to turn back and leave because of the large crowds at the department. The officers of the Department of Immigration and Emigration had issued separate dates.
අයියා කන පාරේ ඉඳන් එන්නේ. ඔව් පෙට්‍රල් විතරලා ඔපලා ආයදාගෙන ටික ගාගෙන එන්නේ. පාස්පෝර්ට් එක දෙන්නේ නැත්තේ කියන්නේ සෙනග වැඩිලු.
සෙනඟ වැඩි ඉඳලා සීල් එක ගාලා ආවල් දවසක එන්න කියලා මේ පෙන්නලා තියෙන්නේ. මටත් අද තමයි දින දුන්නා 7 වෙනිදා එන්න කියලා.
A similar situation was reported in Kurunagala as well. Upon inquiry, the officer in charge of passports at the Department of Immigration and Emigration, Priyantha Hapwarachi, said that this congestion has occurred due to a large number of people not arriving without booking dates and times. He said the department has informed the date and time that should be booked in advance to prepare the passports.
World Bank to distribute $700 million to Sri Lanka. Country director disagrees.
News First with the people.
More news will come your way after this short commercial break.
නිවෙස පුරා ගලන මේ සතුට සුරක්ෂිත කරන්නේ Eslon Insight. Eslon ජීවයයි ජලය ජීවිතේ.
Welcome back to Primetime News here on TV1. Still in local news. Ministry of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara says a minor technical issue has been reported from the Sapugaskanda refinery. The minister tweeted that the technical staff are working to fix the issue at the refinery that has been closed for 3 months.
The collective to protect the Sapugaskanda refinery held a protest during the lunch hour today. They demanded to protect the refinery and a continuous supply of crude oil to the country.
The existing crude oil stock would be enough for about 20 days. We will have to halt operations at the refinery after 20 days if crude oil stocks haven't reached us by then.
Many sectors have been affected due to the fuel crisis. Fishermen in Trincomalee say they haven't gone to sea as they don't have enough kerosene for their boats.
We receive kerosene only once a week. On that day, fights break out in queues. If there are 1,000 fishermen in queue, only 100 or 200 receive tokens. The others can't buy anything. 40 litres of kerosene is not enough to travel long distances. We must try to manage with what we have. That is why we are asking to increase the amount of kerosene sold to us.
When the men don't go out to sea, they don't have another source of income to feed their family. This creates a crisis at home. Many poor people don't have money to even buy 1 kilo of rice.
The All Ceylon Filling Station Owners Association Chairman Shelton Fernando said there is a delay in supplying fuel to filling stations in many areas. Co-secretary of the Ceylon Petroleum Private Tanker Owners Association Shanta Silva said about 300 bowsers have been involved in transporting fuel today. There were long queues for fuel in many areas today.
There is no fuel, although the government says it has stocks. We are suffering. This is a curse. No one is there to inquire whether fuel stocks will arrive or not. We have been in queues for many months.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says the Agriculture Ministry should allow farmers to cultivate using either chemical or organic fertilizer. He made these comments at a meeting on avoiding a possible food shortage during the Yala season.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa met with Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amaraveera and the heads of some related institutions at the President's house today. He said a national fertilizer policy should be prepared to manage the distribution of fertilizer and establish coordination between farmers and officials. The President pointed out that discussions with several countries to meet the fertilizer demand have been successful. The President has requested farmers not to abandon cultivation during the Yala season due to a shortage of fertilizer or other reasons.
We are coordinating with India to import chemical fertilizer and urea. They said they will help us in about 3 days. Don't give up on cultivating during the Yala season. Let's solve this problem and try to reap a good harvest. If harvests are dropping, then we can plan on cultivating green grass kilogram or cowpea before the Maha season. There is no need for us to concentrate more on paddy cultivation. Let's move towards cultivating green gram and cowpea.
The President's Media Division said most lands on which crops are not cultivated are owned by the government. Those lands are to be given to the people who are willing to cultivate.
Although many plans have been made, what is the situation of farming on the ground? There are more than 200 acres of paddy lands in Alahara in the Polonnaruwa district. It has been more than a month since farmers received water to their fields for cultivation. However, farmers are continuing to face shortages of fertilizer and agrochemicals. They say they would not cultivate crops if they don't receive what is essential.
Farmers don't have faith in cultivating their fields. Why isn't there pesticides or fertilizer? A litre of weedicide is sold at 13,000 rupees.
Farmers say they will completely give up on cultivating during the Yala season if the problem is not resolved in 10 days.
We are asking officials to provide at least 4 bags of urea to one farmer by the 5th of June. They said they will pay compensation for the last season, but that wasn't done. Now farmers won't enter their fields if they don't see a single grain of fertilizer. Farmers have to eat imported rice. Those in power are trying to destroy the agriculture sector completely.
The subject of the 21st Constitutional Amendment is figuring prominently among political circles. Tonight, the Cabinet is to discuss the draft bill of the Constitution with amendments. Now, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has proposed to set up 15 new committees. The draft bill for the amendment, tabled by parliamentarian Dr. Wijayadasa Rajapaksa, does not mention these committees. What will happen to the 21st Amendment? News First takes a closer look.
The 21st.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has proposed to set up 15 committees that are not included under the 21st Amendment. This includes a committee on strategies and procedures and a committee on banking and financial services. The two committees are an extension of the Committee on Public Enterprises, Committee on Public Accounts and the Committee on Public Finance. The Prime Minister has also proposed to set up 10 oversight committees, which would be chaired by backbench parliamentarians. He has proposed the appointment of 4 youth representatives to all 15 committees. This includes one from the Youth Parliament and the other 3 from the protesting groups and youth groups. The Prime Minister has also proposed to set up a National Council that includes the Prime Minister, Opposition Leader, Speaker and the leaders of political parties.
The proposals are in line with the amendment. They will function independently. There is no need to include them in the amendment. We can set up the required mechanism through parliamentary standing orders. I don't believe this can be done under the current constitution. A new constitution must be prepared. I don't feel that this can be done through amendments. He has proposed to set up a National Executive Council. Something similar to this was set up in 2015 with the involvement of party leaders. A complaint was filed at the Presidential Commission against him, claiming that the committee was set up in an unlawful way.
Presidential Commission
Our leader Ranil has proposed to include at least 5 protesting youth to each committee and to obtain their suggestions. It is important to bring these committees under a democratic framework. The protest site must be protected. That is why Ranil Wickremesinghe proposed that those involved in the protests should be brought into this democratic framework.
There
is no point in appointing committees if they don't have power. These committees will be led by ministers in the government. There is no point in that. I am ready to accept the post of chairman of the Committee on Public Finance, but there was no response from Parliament or the government. If they have a need to do that, they can implement this instead of talking about it. The people did not participate in this struggle with the aim of entering parliament. They are trying to set up a new trap. There is nothing like that in the 21st Amendment that was tabled to the cabinet. Now they say those who are protesting will be included in the oversight committees. Nothing happens through those oversight committees. What happened to the Presidential Commission's report on the April 21st attack? What happened to the report on the bond scam? Committees were set up to prepare reports.
මහබැංකුව හොරකමේ වාර්තාවට මොකද වුනේ? ඔය හැම එකටම කමිටු හද වාර්තා හැදුවානේ.
I feel it is not practical for these committees to operate in parliament. If parliamentarians have to serve in many committees, it will be difficult for them to fulfill their responsibilities. We agree on providing financial powers and oversight powers to the parliamentary committees. We are supporting that. Economic issues are important compared to political issues. But some are pretending that there is no economic issue. They satisfy themselves with amendments like this. Meanwhile, the leader of opposition, Sajith Premadasa, met the representatives of the National Construction Association today. During the visit, he stated that the country cannot move forward with the decisions taken from within mansions. During 2.5 years as the opposition, we voiced our opinion about this destruction and economic crisis, but no one ever cared about it. Now everyone agrees that abolishing the executive presidency through the 21st Amendment and bringing back the 19th Amendment is the best course of action. But everyone voted for the 20th Amendment to allow the president to usher in an era of prosperity.
The World Bank is to provide about $700 million to Sri Lanka in the next few months.
Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Peiris had sought assistance from World Bank country manager Chio Kanda during a meeting last Friday. In a statement, the Foreign Ministry cited the World Bank's country manager as saying that the World Bank will provide $700 million in the coming months. But in a clarification, the World Bank said it would not offer new financing to Sri Lanka until there is a macroeconomic policy in the country. The World Bank said recent reports highlighting the specific amount is untrue, although it is concerned for the people in Sri Lanka.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says UK's Prime Minister Boris Johnson has promised to support Sri Lanka. He said he had held a discussion with the British Prime Minister today on the current situation in the country. The British Prime Minister had agreed to support Sri Lanka in tackling climate change and becoming an export-based economy.
Why was social media activist Ratta arrested?
News First with the people.
We'll be back after a short commercial break. Stay tuned.
මොකද මහත්තයා මේ නෑ මේ ගෙදර සිංක් එකේ අයි මහත්තයා ස්නෝන් නෙවෙයිද දැම්මේ හදිස්සියට බාලා පයිප්පයක් දැම්මේ නැද්ද මුදලාලි ඊයේ පෙරේදා කඩේ රිපෙයාර් කරන්න ගෙනාපු ගම් චුට්ටක් මේ වගේ ප්‍රශ්න වලට හොඳම විසඳුම ස්ලෝන් ගම් චුට්ටක් හැබැයි ඉක්මනින් දාගන්න ස්ලෝන් පයිප්පයක්
ස්ලෝන් ගම් චුට්ටා හැම ගෙදරකම සිටිය යුතු ජනනල කාර්මිකයා දැන් ළඟම ග්‍රොසරියෙන් මිලදී ගන්න.
Welcome back to the news. Social media activist Rathindu Soumya Senaratne, identified as Ratta, was released on bail after he was arrested today. He was produced before Fort Magistrate Thilina Gamage.
Social media activist Rathindu Soumya Senaratne, popularly identified as Ratta, was arrested today. The arrest was made on charges of obstructing the duties of police officers and using profanity during a protest last Wednesday. Several protesters, including Rathindu Senaratne, had arrived at the Slave Island police station this evening, where he was arrested.
පොලිසිය මගින් ඔහුගේ ගෙදරට දැනුම්දීමක් කරලා තිබ්බා.
The police had informed him to come to the Divisional Criminal Investigations Unit and provide a statement. He informed the police that he will appear on Monday as he is not available on a Saturday. The authorities informed him that several complaints have been filed against him for obstructing the people during the protest on the 25th opposite the Fort Magistrates Court. As of today, the police of the Slave Island Police Station had filed a complaint to the Fort Magistrates Court citing obstruction to judicial activities, visitors to the court, pedestrians and the duties of the police. The document that presented facts noted that violent acts took place after 4 p.m. We will try to secure Rathindu's release on bail tomorrow. A group attacked Gota Gogama on the 9th. Sanath Nishanta, Johnston Fernando and Wasanta Kahantagama and the names mentioned by a senior police officer to the CID were involved in that incident. Why aren't these people being arrested? Why aren't these criminals seen in images and videos being arrested? While they enjoy the privilege of a different law, why is the government trying to suppress peaceful protesters who exercise their rights established in the Constitution?
මේ අරගලකරුවන්ව උද්ඝෝෂකයන්ව ඇයි ආණ්ඩුව මේම මර්ධනය කරන්න හදන්නේ?
Rathindu Soumya Senaratne was granted bail this evening.
The protest at Gota Gogama opposite the President's office in Colombo ran into its 52nd day today.
Protesters at the Gota Gogama protest site are continuing to demand the resignation of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Artists, civil activists, professionals and many others were at the protest site today. Some civil activists opposing enforced disappearances also added their voice to the protest. At the protest site, some activists demanded justice for the girl murdered in Atulugama.
Life is a struggle for many people in rural Sri Lanka who are struggling to make ends meet. But thankfully, many donors are coming forward to make life better for them.
In the Galpura village in Mahyanganel, a 16-year-old girl is plucking coconuts instead of going to school. She does this to feed her family of 4. The girl has no option but to pluck coconuts and sell them to prevent her family from going hungry. But thankfully, donations are now flowing in to support the family after the country witnessed the family's plight. Jinadas's family in Katuwa in Hambantota is receiving help after their story was told to the nation. One child is a kidney patient and requires more help to survive. Thanks to those who joined Gammadda to help, this family now enjoys a renewed feeling of hope.
And that's a wrap of primetime news here on News First, where the people come first. For all these stories and much more, you can log on to our website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. Thank you and good night.